Hey Psych2Goers, welcome back to another Psych2Go video. Today, we're gonna talk about 7 things to know about high-functioning autism. So let's begin. High-functioning autism is not recognized as a medical diagnosis. Rather, it refers to people with a much milder form of autism who need only minimal supervision and have no intellectual disabilities. With that said, high-functioning autism is still autism and part of its spectrum. Autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD, is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by difficulties with social interaction and communication, like monotonous speech, a lack of eye contact, unusual posture, and repetitive body movements. But all symptoms are not necessarily found in every case. Before we begin, we'd like to make a quick disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only. Please don't use this video to self-diagnose or diagnose others. With that said, here are 7 things you need to know about high-functioning autism. 1. There are varying levels of autism. Autism is a spectrum disorder. This means that cases of autism are categorized according to degree of severity. There are 3 levels, with level 1 being the mildest and level 3 being the most extreme. Once a child is diagnosed with ASD, the attending physician or psychologist usually tries to gauge their level by assessing their emotional intelligence, social capabilities, and both verbal and nonverbal communication skills. High-functioning autism is known as level 1 autism. Those at this level generally have the fewest symptoms, and so are better able to navigate their academic, social, and work life independently. 2. HFA used to be called Asperger's syndrome. For the longest time, only people with very severe symptoms were diagnosed with autism, and it wasn't until the early 1990s that psychologists began to recognize its milder forms. In the past, Asperger's syndrome was considered a different disorder altogether, but now it's been acknowledged that Asperger's syndrome is actually the mildest level of autism, and it's still a part of the autism spectrum. People with HPA have an average to high intelligence and normal development of their language, cognitive skills, and age-appropriate self-help skills, which means their autism is much more manageable and has much lesser impact on their day-to-day lives. 3. People with HFA still need support. Even though HFA is considered the mildest form of autism, it does not mean that people with HFA don't need special care and attention. They may have difficulty getting along with others and maintaining meaningful relationships. They still need help understanding simple social cues like humor and sarcasm. Or they may take everything we say at face value and don't feel the need to be mindful of their words like most of us do. And while many of those with high-functioning autism go on to do amazing things, like Charles Darwin, Emily Dickinson, Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, and Bill Gates, they still need your guidance from time to time because of their tendency to be rigid and unable to comprehend social intricacies. 4. People with HFA are self-aware. Do you strive to be more self-aware? While people with high-functioning autism may have trouble expressing it through their emotions, they're actually more self-aware than you think. They understand the challenges that their autism brings, and they're mindful of their own limitations. They realize their uniqueness from those around them. This self-awareness makes them extremely sensitive to the negative reactions of others. It hurts them a lot when they're outcast, judged, rejected, or mocked for their condition. Because of this, they're also at a higher risk of developing anxiety, depression, and other mood disorders. 5. People with HFA are highly sensitive. One of the most distinguishable signs of autism is a heightened sense of perception and extreme emotional sensitivity. And while people with high-functioning autism do have less trouble controlling this than most, that doesn't mean it's no longer a problem for them. People who have HFA are still incredibly sensitive to bright lights and loud noises, but might not react as suddenly or as overtly. They also have a tendency to get too emotional or panic when they encounter unexpected setbacks, and they can feel overwhelmed by change. They need predictability and familiarity with their surroundings to really thrive and excel at what they do. 6. Not all forms of autism look the same. Whether high-functioning or not, people with autism all act differently. Autism is a disorder with many faces, so you can never be too sure you know all that there is to know about it. Some autistic people may be overly chatty and outgoing, while others are silent and introverted. Some might smile a lot and laugh inappropriately at times, while others come off as rude, harsh, or cold-hearted. People who have autism are still people and can have different personalities from one another. Lastly, high-functioning autism is highly treatable. Yes, autism is usually a lifelong diagnosis, but high-functioning autism is still highly treatable, and those who have it can easily manage their condition. Treatment doesn't need to be as long-term or as intensive for HFA as they are with level 2 and 3 ASD. And the outlook is much more favorable. Psychologists may recommend speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, sensory training, applied behavioral analysis, and in a few cases, medication to treat depression or excessively high levels of energy. Being someone with HFA does pose a challenge, but while the condition does come with its limitations, it's worth noting that there's a lot of admirable qualities in people with high-functioning autism. They're honest, conscientious, organized, and highly perceptive. And with the right care and treatment, they're able to rise above their disadvantages and have a great life with plenty of meaningful relationships and accomplishments. Were these points helpful in distinguishing HFA from other disorders? Do you know anyone with HFA? Do these help you understand HFA better? Do let us know in the comments below. Also, remember to share this with those you think might benefit from it. Stay tuned for more.